Morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. A bit of a teaser first this morning. I will have an upcoming interview to post. I'll be talking to Pastor Bob, a local pastor, about Bible prophecy and the end time church. And we're going to go over some questions about what the church looks like. Should the church be preaching Bible prophecy in the pulpit? And we'll ask some questions about what he thinks about these last days. Where are we? What are the significant factors that point us to the fact that we're in the last days? And what is the next prophetic war coming? So stay tuned for that. I'll probably have that. I think that will be a Wednesday release, possibly Thursday morning, but I'll probably try and release it as soon as I think we're going to do that interview Wednesday night late. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be the first interview on the channel. Just talking to a local Bible prophecy, a buff and pastor, about the way things are in the world. So that should be an interesting conversation to be had. Well, to the news story here. This is an article from Debka.com. Debka, an intelligence website, gathering website, big on military intelligence, etc. Moscow, U.S. attack on Damascus is imminent. Now, you've seen the videos I've done on this previously. They have said this before, and apparently the last 10 days they've been saying this, and now it's apparently becoming imminent. This is from March 24th. Russia is claiming for the past 10 days that the Trump administration is about to attack Syria because of Assad's army's use of chemical poisons in East Ghouta. Washington has not addressed this claim one way or another. It's interesting, though, that Russia keeps coming out and pushing this narrative, whether it's a false narrative, or it's going to be a false flag for the United States, etc. Interesting that Russia continues to push this. The Russian General Staff first warned about an imminent attack in Syria on Tuesday, March 13th. Chief of Russia's General Staff, Valery Gerasimov, was quoted as saying that Russia has reliable information about militants preparing to falsify a government chemical attack against civilians, and warning that Russia would respond to a U.S. strike on Syria if the lives of Russian servicemen were threatened, targeting any missile and launchers involved. And we know Russia has come out, Putin has come out basically in an interview with Megyn Kelly, was it, and basically said, any attack on an ally of ours, if we have any reason to believe that it's against or hurting Russian civilians, soldiers, etc., Russian servicemen in this case, and this is just what they're saying, so that they have an excuse to go to war. They're basically saying any attack on our allies, conventional or nuclear, will precipitate the use of Russia's nuclear arsenal in the self-defense, basically in the attack afterwards. Well, underlying the Russian general's warning was a suggestion that Syrian rebels fighting in Ghouta would or had faked a Syrian chemical attack. Then on March 17th, Rudskoy, head of main operations of Russia's general staff, amplified the claim by charging that the U.S. had sent a fleet of strike carriers to the Mediterranean. So this force is comprised of 7,500 army personnel, an aircraft carrying at least one cruiser, destroyers, and 65 to 70 aircraft. So if that is accurate coming from Russia, that would indicate that U.S. is certainly building up for something. Actual U.S. military movements are confirmed with Debka's military sources. Now, they have just had the latest round of, I believe it's the Cobra drill, the drill with Israel, where they're fighting and practicing with Israel. So that could be the reason why the military is there. But Russian military sources go on to state that the Armada is ready to launch roughly 400 long-range Tomahawks against a target in the Middle East on any given day. And I would believe that's accurate as well. We look towards things like destruction of Damascus to be kind of the next big prophetic event. And that would then trigger, the fallout of that would be Gog Magog, Psalm 83. We're not sure which one triggers the others, but likely these all happen in quick succession. While the arrival of the advanced jamming station certainly beefs up Syrian defenses, and this is a jamming station, from Russia, But if properly spaced out on Syrian soil, they would be capable of disabling U.S. military operations right across the country. From the northern Iraq to the Mediterranean, and also interfere with Israeli military activity inside the northern border. So this is one of those time control devices, if you will, the stopwatch, which gives Israel a certain amount of limited time before these things are fully set up, if they want to do any sort of a strike, preemptive or otherwise, in Syria. And so these are things that really limit the actions possible, and maybe even set up. Maybe they roll these air defenses out prior to the Gog-Magog invasion. That would make sense. That they would be setting the groundwork. Russia would, Turkey would, Iran would, for an eventual march towards Israel, and we know that's coming. And the latest news that is Erdogan of Turkey is looking to create an alliance of Arab nations basically surrounding Israel to go and attack Israel, to push Israel into the sea. And that's what most of the Arab nations want to do. They see Israel as the little Satan. They see the United States as the big Satan. The article finishes off here. There has been no comment from American or Israeli sources either to confirm or deny Russian claims of the past 10 days of an imminent attack, U.S. attack in Syria. Perhaps they are waiting to see what is behind them. So again, why is Russia coming out and saying this? It's one of two reasons. A, they know exactly, they have some intelligence that suggests that the U.S. is gearing up for this. Or B, it's a complete false flag, complete propaganda, complete lie by Russia, because they are looking to do something, maybe destroy Damascus as a false flag, so that they have an excuse to start deploying their military weapons and their military in general and go against the United States. Either side can use it to their advantage. If one side or the other destroys Damascus, they're both going to use it to go ahead and go straight to World War III effectively. And you've seen a number of my last videos have been related to World War III, and that's because I think the Bible speaks of, well, I don't think, the Bible does speak of all nations gathering around Israel. And so I think this is exactly what we see happening in the Middle East, in Syria. We see all nations, China, Russia, Turkey, Iran, United States. You have these soldiers from all over gathering, basically, with the warmongering, etc., in Syria, for a battle that is coming, for the prophetic battles that are in the Bible. And then you have these artificial intelligence driven tanks from China, who can themselves possibly put forth a 200 million men standing army and march across the Euphrates, the big rivers there, march from Asia into the Middle East, into Israel, and fight some of the big prophetic battles that are coming up. So interesting stuff. I'll put the link in the description, guys. But this is an interesting propaganda that Russia is putting out. Which side is real? Which side is true? It's hard to say. But the fact that Russia is really pushing this, they're really pushing this narrative over and over again. I do believe it's something imminent, that something imminent will happen. And this is going to be a big year for Bible prophecy. We are getting near to the end of time, near to the 7-year tribulation, nearer to the return of the Lord. And we're going to see these prophetic battles start kicking off. And once these battles start kicking off, we'll see economic collapse. We'll see all the other trials and tribulations and persecutions that come with the end time references in the Word of God. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.